This is my weekly discussion for American literature with Dr. Bondurant, and we are supposed to depict two characters from The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. So, the first character I would like to bring up is Dr. Copeland. He's a very interesting character throughout the book, and I think there's a really interesting element of him on page 334 that talks about when his father-in-law is taking him to his house. He's like, "Don't worry, you're just going to be homesick for a couple of days. It'll be fine." And Dr. Copeland says in this part of the section, he says, "I do not have any home, so why should I be homesick?" He's a very restless human being throughout the book. He travels from house to house to make sure that people are okay and treated, yet sometimes not even treating himself, which led to him being, sick. And anyway, he faces that trial, and he always is trying to inform the African American community and about their oppression. And a lot of times he feels like he wasted 40 years of his life, and thus faces that loneliness. He begins to have a ray of hope, though, at the end of the book, where him and Jay Blunt have this conversation about how they're both wanting this to happen, to have this protest, but they don't know how to do it and how to create justice and promote equality. And therefore, since they both don't have the same mission statement, it fails and leads Dr. Copeland back to square one. That's the first character depicting loneliness. The second character is Mr. Singer, which is really interesting because he's a deaf mute. So his physical part, yes, he faces loneliness. But throughout the book, you see where the only person he cares about is Antonopoulos. Antonopoulos then gets shipped to an asylum, and therefore Singer moves to a different part of town. He lives with these people, and they all pursue Mr. Singer, but the only person that Mr. Singer truthfully loves and cares for is Antonopoulos. The other people pursued him so hard, and yet he felt so lonely, as you can see. And when he would get so excited to go to the train and go see Antonopoulos, both visits. Well, on the second visit, he stopped at the asylum, and it turns out that Antonopoulos died. And he is just broken. He's just a broken human being. And he leads and he goes to the bowling alley. He's walking by and he sees mutes. And he can't even start a conversation with them. And therefore, with his own people, he can't have that conversation. So therefore, it leads to more loneliness. And then you see at the very end of the book, which ends part 2 and leads to part 3, where you see him take his own life. And I think there's some dark elements to that truthfully leads him to being so lonely that his only lifeline was gone. Those are my two characters that depict loneliness, and thank you.